Alright, hello. I forgot where we left off, kinda. All I know is Maya's still missing, and yeah, that's all we need to know. And we have to get a full acquittal for Matt on guard. Let's go. Okay. March 22nd, 2:14 p.m., blah, blah, blah. Oh, dude, I can't believe that Adrian. No way. Not cool and collected Adrian Andrews. She is your manager. It would have been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to the knife you used at dinner was, well, her. So after the ceremony during the break, huh? I was sleeping like a log the entire time. See? She could have also easily planted that blood-covered button in your hakama. Because she was the one that came to wake me up? Then, dude, you're saying it really was her? Yes, she is the real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan Corrida. But why? I thought she was buds with Juan. She has her own agenda. Her own agenda? What are you talking about? I'm sure you'll see by the time this trial's over. It'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of today. Give me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze. Okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude? Phoenix. You think her motive is related to Celeste Impact's missing suicide note, right? Yes. Miss Andrews depended on Miss Impact's and her strength and reason to live. Depended on Miss Impact's. Yeah. But then Miss Impact suddenly killed herself. It sounds like she left a suicide note, and the person thought to have hidden it is Juan Corrida, the victim of this murder. And that's why I think that Miss Andrews got close to Mr. Corrida. All to get the suicide note back. That sounds plausible. But one thing bothers me. What? Who was it that first told us about their relationship? Better stated, Miss Andrews' dependency issues in regards to Miss Impact's? It was Edgeworth. It looks like he's still the one in command of this ship. Whoopsie. Don't let your guard down yet. Yeah. Oh man, it was almost all twos. Here's my frickin' Superman curl. Oh, it's not curl anymore. Court will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you please. The prosecution calls the witness subpoenaed by this court. Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. Corrida's room. Oop, okay. What is your occupation? I need some water already. I am the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Matt on guard. I see. Now then. Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request. Yes, sure. What is it? I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing. I would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently. No, I have no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of Gossipland. fucking judge. If the judge was ever a prosecution witness, he'd do all my work for me.
Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation to the victim.
Yes, I was seeing Mr. Kurita. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan. But this was a private matter between Juan and myself. So was a fry and bait matter, or is that bait and fry? Reminds me of fishing. What is this? What is this judge? That is so out of pocket. That's so out of pocket. I don't understand. But I didn't kill him.
No one is accusing you of that.
I think there's someone who would beg to differ. I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews.
Very well then. Witness, please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder had taken place.
When I found the body. It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room, and there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was, naturally, the same exact scene as in the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. Tomato juice, girl? Ugh. No. No, no, no. You poured yourself a glass of juice? Yes. Sadly, I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of a crime. You know, that's always the problem. And I disturbed the crime by moving this one thing.
And that is when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may... Okay. Phoenix. She is one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match. Yes, I know. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pacing. Disrupt her pacing? She's the type of woman who is easily thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking. So you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial is over. Understand? Okay. We're pressing everything. And what was Mr. On Guard doing at the time? He was taking a nap. He was worn out from his mini performance as the Nickel Samurai during the ceremony. Mr. On Guard did say he was taking a nap. Then I guess you could say it could have not been taken out of his room, yes? Excuse me? If? What are you?
Objection!
Right. I thought years of school would have taught you how to construct a sentence.
Fuck.
If you can't make a sensible sentence with a subject, then I'll make one for you. Watch. Did you, Miss Andrews, remove Mr. On Guard's knife from his room?
How is the fuck? Edgeworth. Who? You're why? It's my turn. No.
Subject, verb, object. Right. Did you skip basic grammar? The witness may continue.
What the fuck, Edgeworth? What's that? Oh my god. And why did you do that? As a friendly gesture, not jester. As a friendly gesture, ho ho. Juan, what? Sorry. Laughing at my own jokes. As a friendly gesture, Juan was to make an appearance with the other heroes. So the show was supposed to be a show of friendship, huh? Press further! Is that the only reason? I beg your pardon? What are you implying? You had a certain goal in mind when you got close to him, correct? So perhaps you had a more personal matter to discuss with the victim? What? Sorry, but I didn't have any such intentions in mind at the time. I can't get her to talk without a strong piece of evidence, I guess. Oh, okay. Okay, so let's look at piece of evidence. Okay, let's just continue to press. You were in shock? What? Was I not supposed to be? Miss Andrews is a very calculating person. And despite how close they were, I doubt she had romantic feelings for Mr. Karitha.
Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock. And you can't seriously expect that a young beauty like her would not be shocked.
Okay, what? Yeah, somehow I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked or not. I see. Exact same scene. This is the... Look at this photograph! This is the photo you're referring to, correct? Okay. Here, I want to see. When did this game come out? And when did the Nickelback song come out? Okay. No. Where's that date? So, I guess 2002, October 2002, first release. And look at this photograph. Song release date. 2005. Oh well. Okay, so they would have had no reason to change it. Is my answer. Okay. Yes, the one with the knife lodged in his chest. And the guitar case was like this too? Yes, it was open and empty, of course.
And then what did you do next?
Okay. What about the faint? Juice? Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself. But you didn't drink any of it, did you? Huh? There are no lip marks left on this wine glass to suggest that anyone drank from it. Now she waterfalled it. She waterfalled it, right? But I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down without drinking it. Miss Andrews, I would like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of Juan Carida, you were in great shock. And that's when you poured yourself the glass of juice, correct? And what of it? My mind was really a complete blank at the time. Your mind was a complete blank? I didn't think that was I didn't think that was possible for you. Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. That one thing. What one thing? Oh? Girl, you fucked up. You fucked it. Like, she could have just emphasized, like, oh yeah, it was that was the one thing I messed up. Was I touched the crime scene. Now with her being like, oopsie, then you're like, okay, she's hiding something else now. Girl. Never mind. It's no big deal. Yeah, what was she starting? Yeah. What the fuck? Miss Andrews. I'm convinced that, as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was. Yeah.
Actually, so would I.
I'm sorry, it's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over. Ah. The flower vase? Are you talking about the one on the floor of the crime photo? Wait a minute. Hold on. I just remembered something. I think the guitar case had water on top of it. Yes. Okay. Haha. Okay, I saw this right away. I was like, wait a minute. This mess of glass shards? It was originally on top of the dresser. But when I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case.
Well, why did you withhold such an important piece of information?
I'm sorry. I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess. Looks like yet another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything else you have to reveal to your testimony. I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else. That's the one. Okay. What kind of flower vase was it? It was a glass vase, and it was fairly big and heavy. I thought I would try to take Juan's pulse, so I set the glass I was holding down on the dresser, and that's when my elbow accidentally hit the vase. That's odd. I thought she was always in total control of herself. That's what she would like people to think. Always be mindful of the gap between your perception and reality. It doesn't sound like there's any glaring contradictions in her testimony just now. I warned you earlier that she would not crack so easily. The only way to make her is to keep on the offensive and not let up. The only way you're going to catch her is with some very strong, decisive evidence. I have to find something. I just have to, for Maya's sake. Okay, so we have our answer. Okay, what I saw, national, blah, blah, blah. I was about to faint, blah, blah, blah. There's a one on the fire race over where I fell onto the guitar case. Wait. Did she say it was open? Oh, wait, okay. Yeah, she was saying it's open because she's saying it's exactly like the photo. Room. Got the faint. I was the not blah 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 blah. Okay.
Objection!
There we go. You testified that you knocked the flower vase over. Is this correct? Yes. And are you sure it fell onto the guitar case? Is there some problem with what I said? It's not some problem. It's a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what is so strange. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, if that was true, the case would have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside. If she knew she was getting a perm, she would not be taking a shower. You know? So that's very true. Furthermore, there's one other strange thing about this guitar case. What is that? Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the vase are scattered on the floor. And what is wrong with that? If the guitar case was open when the vase fell, the glass shards should be inside, not outside the case.
Objection!
What's your point, Wright? That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over? Is that all?
Objection!
Bitch, no. Think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else. Yes, that's right. She did implicitly say that she didn't touch the guitar case.
Objection!
But this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all.
That may very well be. However, the empty guitar case does seem to have no relation to this case, does it? It seems that there is no deeper meaning to the guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright, do you think we need... Yes! The empty guitar case. I believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle.
I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this. But it is you.
I can't believe I'm doing this either. Alright, I'll follow along, for now. Miss Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case. Yes, Your Honor. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. But why? It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. As for why I opened the case, even I don't know. Fucking... Girl, you're spitting some bullshit all over this courtroom floor. It looks like this really wasn't a very important point.
This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling by now that it is almost comforting.
Edgeworth, I'm trying to save somebody that I'm not allowed to say. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination.
Using any way to change the topic. A convenient escape for a weak man.
Edgeworth, why are you being so salty right now?
Hold it!
Hearing your testimony just now, did you remember those events clearly in your mind? Well, you see. Are you sure you are the one who opened the guitar case? She's waiting for someone to tell her if she should answer or not. Sounds like her dependent side is taking over. Aw. Well, Miss Andrews?
Yes, it was me.
So, you opened the guitar case then?
Yes, well, maybe.
Why did you open the guitar case? Huh? This decree of this dead body was right there in front of you, wasn't it? I would think that the first thing you would do is call for help, not open a guitar case.
As the witness has said multiple times when she found the dead body, she was dazed.
Maybe I was curious to know if the bright red guitar was alright or not. Maybe? You were the one who did it.
I thought maybe the criminal took it.
Yeah, why would she care about the bright red guitar?
But getting back on topic.
But we only know that it was empty after we knew that she opened it. So there is no proof. I was just wondering if maybe when you opened the case, the guitar was still inside.
How long have you been a lawyer, Mr. Wright?
I saw the interrobang. I was like, oh wait, I have to put some venom in there.
Have a little professionalism. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. These trials will be over in half the time if you just pay attention.
Yes, pay more attention, Mr. Wright. Sorry. That's some bullshit. Was that because you are shocked and dazed at discovering the victim's body?
Yes, that's probably it.
I'm not going to get anywhere if I continue pressing her like this. The only way to make her talk is with evidence. I guess I should give it a try.
Come on, Phoenix, we can't afford to let up on her now.
I wasn't planning on letting up, but
she's at her weakest now. This is our chance.
Yeah, if we had a weapon to hit her with.
I'm sure a weapon is hiding somewhere in this court record, waiting to be found.
Okay, let me look. Where are her fingerprints? Bitch, where are your fingerprints? You... Okay, hold on. Okay. Where would I present it, though? After I knock the vase over. As for why... Okay. I think I present here. Because there are no... Her fingerprints aren't there.
Objection!
Yes! I feel smart. There is no way you were the one who opened the guitar case.
Why would you say that?
It's elementary, my dear. Okay, you know what? Because the only fingerprints on this guitar case are those of the victim. Ah. What is it, Miss Andrews?
You shouldn't assume that I must have left prints just because I touched the case.
What you left fingerprints on your wine glass. What do you mean?
What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time?
Gloves? But why would you be wearing gloves at the time?
It was the night of the award ceremony. So of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now I remember. I'm almost sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems the witness was wearing gloves at the scene of the... That's strange. That's weird. You were wearing gloves? Isn't that a little strange?
Why is that strange? Do you have something that would prove I was not wearing gloves at the time?
Bitch, I do. Like, I want to kind of root for... Oh, whoopsie. Like, I kind of want to... I don't know. It's hard to feel bad for her. A little bit. A little bit. I have your proof right here. This wine glass. Like, she's really not helping herself here if she isn't guilty. Like, she is... I don't know.
The wine glass?
You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself this glass of juice, wouldn't you think it was just a little strange that you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case? Yeah. Oh my god, what? Her glasses. Girl, that's gonna get expensive if that's like your freak out. Sprite.
Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time.
What do you mean?
I believe that guitar case plays a very important role here.
But it's just an empty case.
I wonder if it really was empty though.
But the guitar. The bright red guitar was at the studio.
Phoenix, drop all of your presumptions. What was in what was in the guitar case was not the bright red guitar.
That's a very weird way to phrase it. Okay. What was in the guitar case? Okay. You don't mean... Oh, it was a bright white guitar? Wait, that's not right either. I admit it would be unnatural for someone to do that. So the witness was not wearing gloves, despite the fact on the case.
Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us all into his misguided.
No, Your Honor. Please, recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. However, it is wide open in this photo of the crime scene. I am sure this guitar case has some relation to the murder.
If you are so sure, Wright, then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct?
Ooh.
Please enlighten us as to why that guitar case has anything to do with this murder.
Can you do that, Mr. Wright? Hold on. I just feel like I need to save when this man is asking me if I can do something. Well, let's suppose for a second that the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in the case. The bright red guitar not being the only thing? You don't mean... Oh, you said it a bright black guitar?
So you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty. Is that it, right?
I wouldn't say something I didn't intend to prove.
Deflate that head of yours. You haven't proven anything yet.
What's inside the case at the time of the murder? Hmm. What was in... Hmm. Well, what would... Okay, no, these fucking dogs. Please, dogs, stop. What was inside this case at the time of the murder? Okay, so I think with this photo last time we were able to prove that's not Matt on guard. That is probably missing. What? Well, I don't remember.
Take that!
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, which one do I present? The picture or the poster? It's the photo. This is a photograph. Yes, but what is important is what is in that picture, Your Honor. In this picture? It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I'm proposing is inside the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume. I guess I could have presented the poster as well. What? Mr. Wright, explain yourself.
Right. Are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there to be doing something like that?
That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews would put it on to hide her identity so she could make her escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews?
I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea?
Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct? You mean this photo? Order! Order! It looks like we wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we? Nice job, Phoenix. Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later. So the real murderer was hiding inside a costume.
Objection!
Yeah, this is so much like the Steel Samurai.
Wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Madame Guard's. Why would something of the defendant's be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case of all places.
True. That is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was this Nickel Samurai doing inside the guitar case? Because he was wearing his, like, for sure. Like, for sure he was wearing it. So it has to be a spare. Mr. Ungard did not take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume we are talking about was a spare one.
What?
Then, are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel? Yes, that is what I'm saying. And how do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case?
It would mean that the victim himself had brought his spear to the ceremony on purpose. This spear.
But why? The victim, Mr. Karina, was the German ninja. Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai spear costume with him? What could be the reason behind such a peculiar act? And therein lies the sticking point.
Objection!
What are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all this time without the sense of inner monologue?
Huh? No, I just... Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nickel Samurai spear costume?
Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? Think carefully before you answer, and then answer with gusto. I believe in you.
Okay. Alright, this is what I think. The reason the victim brought the Nickel Samurai spear costume to the hotel was... Oh yeah, she wanted the suicide note.
Take that!
Nope. Are you crazy? Apparently not. Brought the spare Nickel Samurai costume. The article?
Take that!
Nope. Nope. Okay. The reason? Would I submit Adrian? Because I mean, she could have easily put it in there herself.
Take that!
Nope. Okay. So what's it gonna be? Maybe this thing?
Take that!
Oh! Yeah, okay. What is this? On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference. A press conference? Yes. The Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference.
I heard about this as well. For once, you're not making something up, right?
But what struck me as strange was that Mr. On Guard himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night. But how can that be? The way I see it, that can only mean one thing. The conference was a setup by none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Corrida himself. The victim? Yes. The spare Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Corrida was going to hold the press conference as the Nickel Samurai. Ooh. He was going to dress up as the Nickel Samurai and hold a conference? But why would the victim do such a thing? That's something I don't quite know yet. However, what I'm concerned with right now is that he intended to is what he intended to reveal at that conference.
The Nickel Samurai was going to confess something. And by confess, I'd wager he was going to reveal something about himself.
Which means that Juan Kurita, posing as the Nickel Samurai, was going to speak about Matt on guard. I guess that is what it would mean.
But if that's the case, that's not a confession. It's a public disclosure.
Miss Andrews? I can see why you are pros at what you do. Pardon me? Yes. Just as you say, the press conference was set up by Juan. I think I got a bug bite on my forehead. There's so many dang mosquitoes right now. Miss Andrews, please offer us an explanation for this. Oh, and yeah, I'm in the Houston area, but my neighborhood was fine. We're pretty lucky. I was the one he asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him. That was also me. You? Juan had bet everything on the German Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure that Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought anyway. He was going to ruin him, huh? It looks like somehow Juan had his hands on a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career as it had it been revealed. What? Oh crap. And do you know what the secret of Mr. Unguards is, Miss Andrews? That's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it is. Ah, I see. I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone. Girl, yeah, I mean, finally reading the room. But that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt after all. Protect Mr. On Guard? Girl, you just fucked yourself. And yet, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could, please tell us the truth about your behavior. Yes, Your Honor. I understand. Okay, girl, you need to get your shit together. From the moment wrong voice. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what. And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course. The button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him. Okay. This does account for everything. Well, I am the logical type. I don't know. I think your glasses have exploded at least once. And then you put on a brand new pair. We're finally seeing her true self. She's more nervous than a scared rabbit. If the defense can find no fault with this testimony, I'm ready to make a ruling. Please keep that in mind as you cross-examine, Mr. Wright. Looks like somehow everything has swung to the opposite end of the scale again. That just means I have to put my weight into this and turn her logic upside down. Okie doke.
Hold it!
What would you say was your intuition speaking to you? Don't confuse my methods of reasoning with your own. Ugh. If you want to prove that someone did anything, you need 3 things. 3 things? A motive, an opportunity to commit the crime, and finally, decisive evidence. And if you think these 3 things through, the answer becomes quite clear. You should have already known that, Phoenix. They didn't teach that to us in school, at least not from what I remember. May I continue now?
Hold it!
So would you say this need came from the press conference? Yes. Do you know why Juan chose that event in that hotel for the conference? Because that was when he could cause the most damage to the public's beloved, Madame Guard. And you knew of this plan, didn't you, Miss Andrews? Yes, because I was the one who set up the conference and prepared the costume. But I'm sure Mr. Ungard himself didn't know anything about the press conference. Oh, really? Can you show me any proof that he didn't know about the press conference? Anyway, the important thing here is that this information was not in your testimony. Yes, I agree. Miss Andrews, please correct your testimony, if you please. Please, if you please. Grasping at straws now, are we, Mr. Wright? Alright.
Hold it!
Has Mr. Ungard done something to hurt or betray you personally? Why do you ask? You were the one who helped Mr. Kurita with his press conference. And that event was supposed to bring down Mr. Ungard. Yet you still helped out.
Objection!
The person on trial is Mr. Ungard, right? What the witness was thinking, helping the victim with his plan, is none of our concern. In any case, this means that the defendant had a motive to kill.
Why do I keep doing this to myself? Yeah.
Hold it!
But didn't you already testify earlier that Mr. Ungard was taking a nap in his room? Are you telling me now that 2 was a lie so you could cover for Mr. Ungard? I'm not telling you anything of the sort. When I went to get him for the show, he honestly was sleeping. However, as to whether he was sleeping the entire time, that I cannot say. I was too busy setting up the stage at the time. I keep trying, but I can find no flaws with what Miss Andrews has said. I can't say the same for some people in this courtroom, however. The judge is glaring straight at Mia. He's glaring at you, smart guy.
Hold it!
You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage. Then, what about the button? The button? It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and his murderer fought. And during the fight, the killer ripped the button from the Jammin' Ninja's costume. You're talking about this button, correct? That button was found in the pleats of Matt's Hakama. Isn't that correct? I would think it makes very decisive evidence. Urgh. Looks like you're outfoxed again, Mr. Wright. Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony. I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat. Mia. Thank goodness Mia can still look at me. With an icy stare, yes. Miss Andrews, for Mr. Wright's sake, please add this information to your testimony. I hate these dogs. God damn it. That button was torn off of Juan with his during his fight with Matt. But okay. And how do you know that? When the ends of the threads on the button and the costume were matched up, they were found to fit together perfectly, or so I heard. I've heard that before too. But why would Miss Andrews know about this case down to such a fine detail? Don't look at me like that, just because I'm prepared and you are not. Ugh, and I thought I had her this time for sure. If there's anything to trip her up on, it has to be here. But where and what? But what you really did was stab the guy in the back, didn't you? And at the worst possible time.
Objection!
Who's to say she really stabbed the guy in the back, as you put it?
This witness could have disclosed things about Mr. Ungard at any time. Why then would she wait until there was a large audience before doing so? It's the same reason why Mr. Kurita planned such an elaborate conference. Miss Andrews wanted to cause Mr. Ungard as much damage as she possibly could. This witness bears ill will toward the defendant.
Objection!
This isn't the Phoenix Wright wax philosophical
power hour.
And please stop slandering the witness.
As I expected, Miss Andrews' testimony seems pretty solid. Really? Because to me it sounded a little wishy-washy. Wishy-washy? Well, I guess we'll see if I press a little more. You should know this by now, but you'll need strong, decisive evidence to make her talk. Got it, Chief. I'm gonna pin you down this time, Miss Andrews. Okay. Nobody to prove it. And he didn't have an alibi. That button was torn off one. And that's manager. Okay. And the button. Hold up. Okay. Button is missing. I guess that's a button. Covered in blood. I guess I present the button. I am not sure. Okay. I guess I present the button. Oop.
Objection!
No. Okay, I'm gonna try to read through this part again. Now you know that. The threads fit. And it's gonna be like that. Does this have to do with anything?
Objection!
Okay. This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf. So, strangulation. The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died. And what does that mean? Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off of the costume. When? After the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly, which means it is impossible that this button was torn off during the victim's final struggle, because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. That's right, Miss Andrews. There is no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off of the victim's already dead body. Order, order. Oh.
What's the meaning of this, Wright? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What does that change?
Everything. Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve?
What purpose?
We now know this button was not torn off during the fight. So the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? Mr. Wright, does this mean... Okay, let's see. Memento, to pin the to destroy evidence. I guess pin the crime on guard, right? There's only one logical reason for doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Mr. On Guard. Ooh. There's no way anyone would put a bloody button in their own pants. That's right. Mr. On Guard was set up. By the real killer, of course. Which I don't think was Adrian, honestly. I don't think she could do it. She seems to have a weak constitution. And the real murder is... Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real killer then? Finally. I can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet. Not until the very end. I guess it's... Oh, to frame. Well, no. I'm like, you can't frame him if he's the one who's killed. You know. Okay. Adrian. Miss Adrian Andrews. I choose you. You're Mr. Korea, this killer. I choose you, Pikachu. You're the victim of murder. Oh, we lost another pair of glasses. Order, 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 Mr. Wright. This is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence that supports your charge? Any evidence? All of the evidence points to Miss Andrews. It kind of does. But I really don't think she did it. How preposterous. You can't stick any of that on me. I can't, can I? Would you care to test me? Then, what about this knife? The knife was used to stab the victim after he had already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. On Guard, naturally. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you. Oh, that's glass is number 3 that's been shattered. Then, what? What about the button that was found in Mount Hakama? This button was removed from the victim's body after he had already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. On Guard was the real killer, there's no way he would have put such incriminating evidence in his own Hakama. Hakama? I don't know how to say that. Okay, number 4. The only person who could have put this button into Mr. On Guard's Hakama is the person who went to wake him from his nap, which is you, yet again, Miss Andrews. Oh, I see. What about the empty guitar case? That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. That costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled to the crime scene. Now, who could have known that there was such a costume inside the guitar case? It could only have been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews. No, But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case. And it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time. That's right. That's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found out she had touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposely left her fingerprints on the glass to show that yes, indeed, she was the classic dazed discoverer of a dead body. Number 5. And to top it all off, here it is. There's this photo. A photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on earth can believe this nickel samurai is Mr. On Guard. He would be much too short for his own costume if it was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not? Well, it's kind of hard to tell when you're drawing. Like, I guess that's why they bring it up. Please, stop. Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? I've got her this time. Miss Andrews? I refuse to testify. Oh, girl, you've already started. I don't know. What was that? There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me. Girl, that's not the way you should be prefacing information divulgence. Well, yes. You are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination by allowing witnesses to not testify if the testimony can cause damage to themselves. What? Pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. I don't know. I don't know. I've seen too many weird police videos where it's just some white lady throwing a fit in a Target, and it's you know. Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. Angard's room. Adrian Andrews. Yes? Think hard of what we just discussed. Understood? Alright. That's it. That's when Francisca planted this idea into her head. She must have told Miss Andrews not testify if things looked bad. You did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. But there is still one thing you haven't done. Something I haven't done? What's wrong, Wright? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence? Gasp. What is so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless. What? Everything you have proven is circumstantial. Circumstantial? Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to provide a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Mr. Kurila. Miss Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Kurila? I believe this may lead to me incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering. But Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think? Maybe so, or maybe not. There's nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence. No! She's taking that defiant attitude again. She has got a shit-eating grin right now. Mia, what should we do? Somehow, we've landed in the worst possible situation. Thanks, Mia. I think we have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Miss Adrian Andrews has refused to testify, and the defense's theory that she is the actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid, definitive proof. But that's not true. In this situation, there is only one thing this court can do, and that is to declare a recess. I'm going to go play on the swings. Recess? I call dibs on the swings. Everyone takes them before I can get over there. I request that both the prosecution and the defense look further into this matter. And at tomorrow's trial... Tomorrow? We don't have a tomorrow. If we don't get a not guilty verdict today, then... Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial. Please continue the trial. What are you sweating for? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he? Edgeworth, you know what's going on. Right? I thought we talked about it with him and Gumshoe. That's not it. This isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya... Yeah. There's a reason why she's not here. But this is impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now then, this court is...
Objection!
Edward. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
It is not impossible for this trial to continue.
Mr. Edgeworth, what are you...
It's true Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation were something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony.
Yes, that is very true, but...
Actually, there is one little thing I'm curious about. Miss Andrews. When you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice.
Yes, and? Yes, and?
I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually when one finds a body, they are shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice.
Shaken, not stirred.
So my actions were unusual, but I've already... Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect.
Testify?
Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness.
I don't know what it is about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read off of him. Is he friend or foe? I just don't know. Mia was a poet, and she didn't know it. The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please. When I found his body.
That glass of juice, I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in that messy state. And Juan, he was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that is when I knocked the flower vase over.
Okay. So you poured that glass of juice for the victim? Why didn't you say so in your earlier testimony?
I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial.
Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything wrong with this testimony, then there's nothing left. I know. Edgeworth, what the heck is going on in that brain of yours? Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. When I found the body. A glass of juice. But there wasn't anyone else in the room, right? Of course not. Then, who did you pour it for?
Mr. Wright, there is a rhyme and reason for everything. Can you wait just a little longer for it to be revealed to you? In other words, Wright, be quiet and listen.
Precisely. I couldn't have said it better myself. They're just having fun shitting on me. So, it was a mess? Are you sure it wasn't messy because of your fight with Mr. Karida?
I understand your frustrations at not being able to prove your theory. However, before you go accusing people of crimes, go find yourself some evidence.
Grr.
And then, what did you see next, witness?
Okay. Slumped over. Yes, he was just sitting there with his head tilted forward, eyes closed. He really looked like he was sleeping. Is it just me, or did that sound... Oh, or did that right there sound a little odd?
Hold it!
Then what did cross your mind? I thought maybe he had smashed everything up in anger because he lost the Grand Prix. And then felt tired after his rampage, so I decided to take a nap. Anyways, that's what I thought. I see. So you didn't think he was dead at all.
Hold it!
You thought he fainted? I thought he was asleep at first. But then, the room was in such a messy state. I thought maybe he had gotten into a fight with someone. And that's when you went to pour the glass of juice? Yes. He always has a hard time waking up. So Juan always has a glass of tomato juice to drink. I see. And after that, what happened next?
Hold it!
And how did you come to realize that he was in fact dead? I shook him over and over, but I never got a response. So I set the glass down on the dresser and tried to take his pulse. I was shocked and staggered backward and knocked the flower vase over. So that's what happened. Yes. This is what it all comes down to. Huh? Again, Mia. This is the absolute end for both sides. And Adrian is letting her guard down. Phoenix, now is our best chance to kill the prosecution's case. Isn't that a bit harsh? Miss Andrews, will you tell us the truth this time? Wait, did she...
Hold it!
Wait, which one did Phoenix say was weird?
Objection!
This one?
Hold it!
Slumped over. You had to look right there. It's not a little odd. I think I have to present the crime photo. Like, I don't know, man. That looks pretty dead to me. Unless he's known to sleep in weird positions.
Objection!
Oh, whoopsie. Whoopsie. Maybe I should. Save. Okay, you're saying slumped over and tired looking at the corner. I saw him there.
Hold it!
Yeah, let me read this again. Slumped over, blah blah blah. Something. Sound a little odd. That's not the photo. Maybe the knife?
Objection!
No. Okay, so not that. when I knock the flower vase over. I feel like I just fainted or something. Let's see. Let me face it. I feel like I feel like the knife is not related. Okay. Can I prove that she didn't? So tomato juice. Okay. Crap. Is it? No. Surprise on out to the room, saw the messy state, and gone. I'm sitting slumped in the corner. When I saw him sitting on himself, thought that he was dead, didn't cross my mind. Then I said that he had just fainted or something, so I poured him some juice. I realized he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over. Like, why hasn't she mentioned the knife? Is my main question. Nope. Okay. Never mind. But I'm stuck. He was dead, didn't cross my mind. Okay, do I put the photo here? There we go. Okay. So you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him? There we go. No, not at all. Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body. Ah, yeah, the fucking knife. What is the meaning of this? Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There's a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Karida's chest. Anyone who saw the scene would have immediately thought that there was a dead man. Well, you see, I doubt a single person in the world would mistake this for someone who fainted. And then so nonchalantly go pour something to drink. Your point is... Miss Andrews, your testimony just now, it was all one giant lie. Oh, I've lost count of glasses now. At least, I think 6. That you are the real killer. No. Alright, Darth Vader, you are under arrest. It looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Mad on Guard, is not guilty after all.
But that's impossible. You're wrong.
Miss Andrews, try to have some composure.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt. I swear it. He's the one who killed Juan.
But you're the one who refused to testify. And your reason for not doing so was that you might end up incriminating yourself.
That's because...
Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you?
I refuse to testify.
Oh, okay. Then there is no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. Mattengard's innocence has been clearly demonstrated.
Is it over? It's over, isn't it?
Have we found the truth at last?
Isn't it over?
What's wrong, Phoenix?
Usually, the real killer confesses his or her guilt. And now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't.
No then. I would like to hand down my verdict for Mr. Mad on Guard.
Objection!
Hot milky. Not guilty.
Your Honor, the prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time.
What?
The reason is quite simple.
'Cause
Fuck you, that's why. This witness has yet to speak the absolute real truth.
We're stuck here until she talks. The absolute real truth? What are you?
Witness, don't you understand yet?
Huh?
I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head, but as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Matt on Guard will go free, and in his place, you will become the guilty party.
That's a lie. I don't believe you.
What?
I was told if I spoke then it would be all over, and Matt would never be declared guilty. But what in the world is she talking about? Has she lost it?
I can't speak about it. I'm too scared.
It's Franziska von Karma. Huh? Don't you remember, Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by gripping tightly onto the words of another, because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself. Then, right now, Miss Andrews is. Yesterday, she was tossed a lifesaver by Miss von Karma. Don't say a word, no matter what happens. If you do, Matt on Guard will be acquitted. Miss Andrews undyingly believes in those words right now, and is clinging on to them. Then what should we do? This is the first time I've ever crossed anything like this. But Miss Andrews has to be the killer, right? All we have to do now is get our not guilty. That's my only priority. Man, you just want the verdict, man. He's gonna turn into like a prosecutor. It wasn't me. I'm begging you. Please believe me. I didn't kill Juan. Help. Please. Someone help me. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? The court can't continue on like this. Therefore, I'd like to hear what you intend to do. What I intend to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say?
Right. I suggest you think very carefully about this. Think about what this witness did and what she did not do. And think about who is the real mastermind behind this crime.
Who's the real mastermind? Isn't that obvious? There's no one else that could be except the woman crying right over there, right?
Come now, what will you do? What kind of man are you, Mr. Phoenix Wright?
Yeah, we gotta, I would feel awful. I have to win a complete acquittal today. There's no way around that. But I can't bring myself to do it like this. Not when she's making a face like that. Oh. Miss Andrews, I would like to know what you are really hiding. Mr. Wright, are you sure you know what you're doing? Sure. Mr. On Guard would get an acquittal, but in his place you would be found guilty. Is this how you really want this trial to end? Be quiet. How dare you? You're trying to trick me. That's enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it's clear that the defense's theory is the truth. You're wrong.
What a shame. I had hoped things wouldn't come to this. However...
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court.
Stop. Mr. Edgeworth.
This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness.
I mean, girl, this did come out in 2002, so I just remember that. Girl probably has, like, honestly, she reminds me too much of myself when it comes to, like, having dependency issues. She might have BPD. This is just my armchair psychologist, you know, just and also speaking from my own experience.
And because of this illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past.
Stop. Please stop.
No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. I have the evidence right here.
That's the second part of the suicide report. It's the attempted suicide report.
What will you do now, witness? You know what I'm about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews.
Jesus Christ, Edgeworth. The secret of her dependent nature. Having other people know about it scares her more than anything else in the world. I mean, yeah. Girl. Please stop. I beg of you. If people find out, I'll... Look, girl, what can you do right now?
If you're going to say you would choose death, that is of no concern to me. Been there, done that.
Like Edgeworth, come on, girl. Edgeworth, how can you be so cold?
However, before you die, I will pull the truth from your still breathing lips, no matter what I have to do. So will you tell the court yourself, or shall I? Either is fine with me.
I'll talk, but please, help me. Oh. Nothing matters anymore. Oh. Ugh. Yeah, This is why I try at all costs to avoid having a favorite person. Oh god, okay. When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted. Honest. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. And then I stabbed Juan's dead body with the knife and ripped off the button. Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. And that's why I ended up using the nickel samurai costume. An inconvenience? Stab the body with a knife? But why would you do that? Isn't it obvious? To pin the blame on a certain person. A certain cowardly man. What do you mean by all this? It might take this court a little while to understand, but this is the truth. The real killer is Matt. That scumbag of a man. I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like last time. Last time? So, Miss Andrews stabbed the victim, Juan Corrida, in the chest with a knife. However, she didn't do it with murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Matt on guard for the murder. And this is her crime. So he was already dead? What? How is this possible? I mean, wasn't Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer? It's never that easy, Phoenix. Mr. Wright, please get over your shock and commence the cross-examination. My crime. When I first saw... Oh. But you could tell from the state of the room... You could tell from the state the room was in that there must have been a fight. Are you telling the truth when you say you did not know he was dead? He had a scarf tied around his neck. But that scarf is part of the German ninja's costume. So I didn't think anything about it was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought I'd wake him up and went to pour the juice. What is this plan you had? I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because Juan, he was going to expose Matt's weakest weak point to the world. So Matt did this to stop Juan and silence him for good. That's when I thought I should forge some evidence and pin this crime on Matt. So the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button. The first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife. Oh, what the heck? Oh. That was so you could get the knife, correct? The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over. Oh, I'm getting voices confused now. And the knife, blah blah blah, fingerprints. I thought if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. I slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime. So you were the one to stab the victim with that knife. It gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did. But at the time, I couldn't control my own body. It moved on its own. Then, when I stabbed Juan's dead body, I suddenly realized something. If I used the button somehow, I could make Matt look even more suspect. So you thought to rip one of the buttons off and then plant it in Mr. Engarde's hakama. Yes, that's what I had planned to do. But things never go that smoothly, do they?
Hold it!
An inconvenience? There was a woman with the camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway. I'm willing to bet my spikes it was Lotta. There is also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth. That's Miss Oldback for you. Oh. I had already been caught and made into a big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once. So I couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught again. That's why. You're the one who prepared that costume, weren't you? Yes, I took it from Global Studios. I also put it into Juan's guitar case the day before the awards ceremony.
You did this in preparation for the press conference, correct?
Yes, Juan wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference in it. He was going to disclose Matt's big secret there. And what is the secret? That I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave Juan's room in the nickel samurai costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume. I think we've heard enough. So, after that, if you went back to Mr. Ongar's room and planted the button into Matt's Hakama, yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. Then I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it. But my word, what does all this mean? Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt Ungard. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk. Francisca, huh? She said that I should, under no circumstances, to confess to what I had done. And if I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words. Interesting. What this witness has done is clearly unlawful, but not... I don't know, it's like lawful, legal. Those are relative terms, right? However, as long as her testimony stands, who can be certain she is not the real killer? But wait, Your Honor. The defense still...
Right. It's pointless. At this point in time, it is not possible to indict Miss Andrews on anything.
Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. The cross-examination of the witness is over, and so is today's trial. You couldn't establish that the witness was the culprit. Please let it go, Mr. Wright. But... Mr. Edgeworth, please place Miss Andrews under arrest for further questioning.
Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately.
That is all. Court is adjourned for today. I've got to take a wicked piss. I'm sure that's why the court ended. That's the first time I've actually seen the chair, I think. Shit. Today's trial is over. And I didn't win an acquittal.
Witness, would you mind if I asked you something?
Edgeworth?
What is it? Before you leave court today, I wondered if I might look at one thing. The card in your hand. It's had my interest for quite some time now. What exactly is it?
Oh, this? Mr. Wright also asked about this. Although I didn't remember at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright. I remember just now. I found this in the room on that day. The room? That terribly awful, horribly beautiful movie.
That day,
I don't know. There's probably a movie with that title, but you know. Yes. I found this card when I discovered Juan's body. It was lying there, right there next to him. You found that card next to the victim's body and then put your fingerprints all fucking over it? I suppose I must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket. But it's not as if this card has any relevance to Juan's murder, right? It might be a calling card. Yeah, I guess not. But it's still a strange card if you ask me. But as far as a clue to this case, I don't see why.
Witness, that card. Give it to me. Hurry.
Edgeworth? Edgeworth?
You have any idea what you have stupidly, yet inadvertently done? This. I can't believe you hid this from me all this time.
I didn't mean to. What is this all about? I've never seen Edgeworth so emotional before. That card. What in the world is it? What does it mean? Gasp! Dun dun dun. Alright, I'm ending things here for tonight. 'Cause just like the judge, I also have to take a wicked piss. Oh boy. Okay. I'll end things off here like I always do by saying good morning, good afternoon, good night, good luck, good riddance, and stay safe. And we're doing some more Tears of the Kingdom tomorrow. I just wanted to take a little break from it because I want to avoid burnout, because that's what happened to me with Pokemon recently. So, yeah. See you guys next time, and make sure you save twice for good luck. Oh, we're in part 3. Oh boy, investigation time. Next time. Goodbye.